I loved the use of a writer to explore so much of what all of us are trying to make sense of, and maybe not all of us, but as a Black person, there's so much to navigate in terms of how society is making sense of our identity, um, our culture, who we are, um, and the appropriation of it. And I really um, loved that it was a story about that, that wasn't saying it was about that, and that you could take your own things away from it. And then you throw in a Jeffrey Wright, and you're like, I like it. I like the idea of this. It was a page turner because I was like dying to understand what, like, oh, I was like, okay, wait, what? And like, is he going to get found out? And all of these kinds of things. And how do you make sense of that? And what does that do? And why is it that certain versions of who we are received and celebrated and others aren't? And what does that say about where we are as a culture and as a society, really? In essence, it is a story about a man who is making sense of who he is uh, outside of the context of his own family. And he's confronted by, when we meet him, he has already lost his father. And you know that there's a complexity and a tangledness to his family. And the character that I play kind of sets up everything that he's avoided. And it leaves this man having to grapple with his own personal identity and how that is matching up with how the world sees him. Um, and he's a writer, and he writes books, and he also teaches. So I play Lisa. Monk, who is played by Jeffrey, his middle sister, so older sister. I think he's the baby. And I am a Planned Parenthood doctor, an abortion doctor, which was one of the first things that actually drew me to the role, particularly with everything going on in our country. Just the mere fact that I'm playing an abortion doctor was important to me. She has the world on her shoulders. She cares for and has always cared for, like many, many, many middle children. I'm a middle child. Cares for her mother. Sort of, I think, took the brunt of her father's suicide and took the brunt of the responsibility of that, and has been carrying the burden of her family when her brothers left and went west. Her other brother being her older brother, being Cliff, who is dealing with his own stuff. Also, Lisa has just gone through a divorce. And something about the relationship between Monk and Lisa really kind of establishes who Monk is in the world. There is a real love and connection between the two of them that when she leaves early on in the script, he is propelled into the rest of the story like a slingshot. This film explores identity, culture, race, family, academia in a way that I think is really interesting, and the importance of academia, the importance of how we look at literature and the importance of literature, and the difference in storytelling and literature, and fiction and nonfiction, and sort of what all of that means, and um, how books tell a different story than film, and how those stories get etched in time in a different way, and how they explore place and time. Well, Jeffrey Wright's just exciting. And my favorite thing about Jeffrey is he like becomes something different in every role. Um, it's been really fun. Strangely, we lend ourselves to the sibling relationship really well. I think I've brought something out of Jeffrey. He was really giggling a lot. I don't know that I thought Jeffrey was a laugher, but I had him laughing a lot, which made me really happy. It's wonderful. It's a really exciting thing as an actor to be able to work with people that you already admire, and people that you admire because their work is so layered and so good. And I hope it brings something good out of me too. Cord is the writer and director of this project. I believe this is his first directorial debut, or that's repeating myself twice, but directorial debut. And I love working with first time directors. I think for me, it's really special because I've been a first time director. And there's a real, like, you can smell the fresh cut grass quality to a first time director, and it manifests differently in everybody. But I really feel that my role as an actor is to support the vision of the director. And there's something very special about that with a first time director. Cord is so incredibly smart. And although he's a first time director, he is not a first time human. And so he has a real point of view, real clarity about what he wants and needs, which I think is the key to being a great director. And he is not allowing his newness to be an opening for people to push past what he wants. And so it's been joyful. He's prepared, which is honestly the biggest thing as an actor for me. When a director's not prepared, like I literally can't take it, or sort of indecisive, and he's not. So it's been great. I hope audiences experience what I felt when I read the script, which was surprise, little shock, and then dying to know where this goes, and how this man makes sense of all that is happening.